Okay, so I'm here with my friend Heather,
Mhm.
and longtime community member and client, and thank you so much.
You're welcome. My pleasure.
We're gonna just have a real easy conversation. I have not primed you.
I don't need to, I'm open. I'm
Yeah,
good. My taps are flowing.
yeah.
Yeah.
But a little bit about um, what it's been like to work with me
Yeah.
and kind of what you would want other people to know
Yeah.
if they were considering working with me.
Yeah.
So maybe would you mind start just introducing
Sure.
yourself and what you do,
Sure.
a little bit
Yeah.
about you?
Yeah. So I'm Heather. I'm a she, her. Boy, what I do. I do a lot of movement. I'm pretty earth connected, the earth and the trees and the rivers and the waters and the wind and the fire. That's very elemental, I would say.
Mhm.
Let's see. I think I'm a connector.
Mhm.
I mean, if I wouldn't necessarily say I'm a healer but I am a connector and a magnifier. I would
Mhm.
say that's how I show up in my
That makes
energy work.
sense.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, I
Uh-huh.
can, yeah, pull people in and connect them. And then for my like money work, I work for a local nonprofit that helps people with developmental disabilities build really full community connected. Ha ha!
Mhm.
Oh, there's
There
a
you
theme.
go.
Really
You're in the right
community
spot.
connected lives where they have, meaning and
Mhm.
people that love them and care about them but are not paid to do
Mhm.
so.
Mhm.
So, and value and worth. So,
Yeah.
yeah.
Cool. So we have worked together in a lot of different
Yeah, quite a
capacities. I was
few.
thinking about
Yeah.
that in preparation for this, but um, one thing I thought I would love to hear more from you if you're willing to
Mhm.
share is particularly around receiving psychic readings.
Yeah. Yeah.
So does that feel like something?
Sure,
Okay.
absolutely.
So what I would start with is like to the degree you want to share, like what was the thing you were struggling with or what was the problem
Yeah.
you were facing that
Yeah.
before you reached out for a
Yeah.
psychic reading?
Yeah. Yeah. So, when I sat with myself and really thought about if there was something that I could understand or have more tools for or be better equipped to heal around, I have a lot of really significant mental illness in my family. Schizophrenia and just a bipolar disorder and just some really heavily affected people that I really love. So
Mm-hmm.
I have a lot of from my childhood and from just my being here on I have a lot of tenderness around that. It's kind of a wounded place.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So as I was saying, a lot of really significant mental illness in my family. And so some soul bruising, from
Yeah.
that. And then a very close loved one of mine got diagnosed with some really significant stuff and was really struggling and was really raging at me,
Mm,
really hurtful. And I couldn't separate from it.
mm,
I usually have really clear self-care boundaries and I'm usually very connected and able to live and let live. And I couldn't, and
mm-hmm,
it was really burying me to
mm-hmm,
the point where I couldn't get out from under it. I
mm-hmm.
couldn't. And this is like a 2-year thing. This is not
Yeah, it
like
was
3 or 6 months. It was um and so when your offer for a reading came and I really sat and thought, well, if I want to have more tools, that is a thing that I have to figure out a new way to approach and deal and love and care around and about it. So that's kind of where it came. That's what I needed help with,
yeah,
honestly. I was just struggling really
yeah,
significantly.
yeah. And when you imagined then, like, kind of what in your imagination then would have been helpful or would have made a difference, or what would that difference have made for you?
Yeah.
And I heard you say, having some more tools, but like, what did you want to feel like in relationship to that
Yeah, just
thing?
less controlled by it.
Oh, yeah.
It's kind of funny. I know now what I know now. So that might be part of why this comes up, but what I felt bound to it. I
Yeah.
couldn't separate
Yeah.
from it. I
Yeah.
couldn't I use language now when I'm talking about this with other people who have loved ones with really significant mental illness. I was on the roller coaster with my
Yes,
loved one,
gotcha.
tied in, set, bound with them on this ride. And I knew that that wasn't healthy for either of us, but I couldn't stop.
Mhm,
So that's, I needed to be able to have some room,
mhm.
some space between what my loved one was dealing with and how they were feeling about me,
Yeah, yeah.
and their anger. And so that's what it was. I needed to be unbound. I needed some freedom, some
Yeah,
room
yeah,
to be healthy, despite however unhealthy that loved one might have been.
yeah, yeah. I mean, I'm hearing that as like a way to still be in relationship with them
Absolutely.
that wasn't on the roller coaster.
Yes,
Yeah.
absolutely.
Mhm.
Still in relationship and still present, but not controlled by
Yeah.
it.
Mhm. Yeah, I totally hear that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah.
Okay, so um was there any like barrier to saying yes to a reading?
Yeah. That's a fun question. Yeah, I honor you and I love you. And I
Yeah.
know how powerful you are. Like you said, we'd worked together for years
Yeah.
before that. But I didn't, honestly, I thought, oh, a psychic reading. Well, it'll be fine. So I wouldn't call it necessarily a barrier, but I didn't expect anything to really come from it. I was open to that.
Mhm.
But I didn't have, I wanted to help a friend,
Yes. Yeah.
I wanted to show up for my friend
Yep.
in a monetary way,
Yeah. Like I'll buy that.
Yeah,
Okay.
exactly right, exactly. Yeah. So I wouldn't even call it a barrier, but yeah, I didn't expect what I got from it for sure.
Mhm. Okay.
Yeah.
So what did you get?
Yeah.
Let's do it.
So wow, I got some real truth about and I think the language that was used that was so powerful for me was old expired agreements,
Mm,
old binds, old past life stuff,
mm,
which resonated so deeply for me
mm,
because that is exactly what it was.
mhm,
And you were able to tell a story that I know in my belly, I
mm,
know it in my
mhm,
DNA,
mhm.
about part of the reason why I was so bound to this human. And boy, this makes
Mm,
yeah,
yeah.
and how we could renegotiate
Mm,
our agreement for being in relationship.
mhm,
And the other thing that came for me was that I don't know how else to say this, but that acknowledgement, that permission that, yeah, this isn't appropriate. This is
mm,
expired.
mm,
This no longer serves either of you, this
mhm,
past life agreement that you
mhm,
have.
mhm.
Um,
You don't have to be beholden or bound to it.
exactly.
Yeah.
And you can still love and
Yep.
be close,
Yep.
and but that we were able to release that, to unbind it,
Yep.
to let it go, and it was when you were telling me the story um, of our past life time and interactions together, I literally just sobbed,
Yeah.
because I knew it, I remembered it
Yeah.
in a way that is not this memory, but this, this
Yeah.
memory and this
Yeah.
memory.
Mm,
So
mm.
and it worked. And that's
I mean, I'll tell you, it surprises me too.
girl,
Like,
I'm telling you, I like literally within a couple of days, I was like, I'm and I'm so, I want to just take a moment to just once again, okay, thank you so much.
oh,
It really was healing.
yeah.
It
Yeah.
healed this thing, and that healing has continued. And I had some ancestors show up I was that I welcomed, and that I'm able to still sometimes be in conversation with. So
Mm.
does that answer your question?
Yeah.
Yeah, I
Awesome.
was honest. I couldn't believe it. I You mean my super powerful priestess friend is also really a psychic? You gotta be shitting me.
Oh God, I'm gonna quote that one.
You can have them maybe take the shit. But I literally
Oh.
walked around just agog for a few days, like, so
Oh,
yeah.
that's awesome.
Yeah. Yeah, it was awesome. It was really powerful. It was real.
Yeah, that's so cool.
It really was.
Thanks.
You're welcome.
I'm so
Thank
glad.
you.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was cool.
Cool.
Yeah.
So if someone was, who would you recommend
Yeah.
something like a psychic reading for? Like,
Yeah.
what would you say to them?
I think, well, I mean, this is beyond just psychic readings, but in my, like, not our friendship, but our work, our work together. Um, One of the things that I have really found is, and you say it in some of your material, but I'm a very spiritual human, and I'm very connected to a lot of that. But I had not had a place for worship, for ritual, for connection. And so I think the psychic reading I would really recommend for people who are feeling blocked, feeling stuck, feeling bound, obviously, and I would say to you don't have to really believe that it's going to work.
Yeah, it's not wild.
It really is.
Yeah.
If you come, I think if you just come open to the possibility of what will be brought to you and shown to you, that's all you need to do. You don't have, you don't have to believe. You can just be open. So yeah, I would say, if you're feeling blocked or bound or not flowing, open your mind and your spirit to it. Give it a shot. Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Thank you so much. Is
Yeah.
there anything else you would want to tell someone or folks to know?
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
Don't be afraid to do this work.
Yeah.
Don't be afraid to be in this community or to, you're so, your approach is healing, even when you're doing deep, painful work with someone. You have a healing balm and healing touch. And people, I know I sometimes feel anxiety or fear to go into those places with another human.
Yeah.
To allow another human to see that vulnerability and to be naked and vulnerable in front of another human. But you don't have to be. You're safe. You're safe with Kate and in the spaces that Kate is in community.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you
You're
for
welcome.
sharing that.
Yeah.
I have loved being in community with you and all the different, I was thinking about this. I was like, well, she could talk about this or that or this other thing. Like we've done so many different pieces. So, and I'm so glad to have you as a friend and supporter. And so thank you for taking the time to share about your experience.
Yes. Happy to do so. Yeah. Yeah. It's been good. It is good.
It is good.
It is.
Yeah.
I love you.
Actually, thank you.
I do.
I love you too.
Yeah.
I was thinking of one last question, just like, because that reading was about a year ago.
Yeah,
or a year ago in the
half.
summer or something.
Yeah.
Or spring. Yeah. So, is there anything like over time that you noticed? I mean, you shared about like the few days afterwards, but like over time, what did you notice?
Yeah, I am more aware of the places where I'm bound in old agreements. I can sense it.
Yeah.
Now.
Okay. Oh, interesting.
Yeah. So just like shining the light on that one fundamental past life traumatic, thing. Allowed me to be a lot more aware of other places where I'm bound with people that my agreements are expired. I'm not held by those contracts anymore. They're over.
That's really cool.
Yeah. And I get to renegotiate those. And sometimes I get to choose not to go back into relationship.
Right.
With that human. I'm not, it has been really freeing in other places where I'm have old expired contracts or old expired, and even just to be able to frame relationships like that has been impactful.
Yeah, that's an outcome I hadn't imagined, but like the way I'm hearing it for you is that you got kind of a familiarity with like what that old contract feels like. And so presently. So now you can be like, oh, that feeling, I recognize that.
Right.
Okay.
Exactly. That's what that is. And that's why for me, it's very much like a belly breath. If there's a connection in my body that I know when that happens, I recognize, oh, that's that same type of thing. Because I think I've been around a few times. Right? So there's a lot of folks.
Collected some people.
Yeah, I got some got some books with me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, that's so cool.
It
Thanks for
is
sharing
cool.
that
Yeah.
piece.
Thanks for asking. I hadn't thought about that,
Yeah.
but it's true.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Great.
There
All
we go,
right.
lovely.
Thank you so much.
My
It was
pleasure.
really lovely to chat with you.
Yeah, lovely to chat with you too.
Yeah.
Yeah, happy to do it.